Hi guys, it's Nicole Gleichman, the Vegan Advisor here, to go over a little bit with you about vegan balanced nutrition and really just how you can avoid deficiencies while on a vegan diet. First, let me jump in and say that this is not something that is particular to a vegan diet. Any diet that you follow, and that's an omnivorous, aka meat and dairy eating, vegetarian or vegan diet, have certain nutritional deficiencies that are common. So you want to watch out for these no matter what you're eating. For example, the most common ones for omnivores are deficiencies in magnesium, in calcium, iron, folate and fiber, vitamins A, D, C, and E. And then, with the vegan, when you're switching to a new diet, you're going to be more likely to think, oh, right now I have low energy, it must be a deficiency. Whereas before, you would have just been like, oh, I must be stressed, I didn't get enough sleep, it's right before my time of the month. Lots of different things that you could be thinking. But when you switch to a new diet, you also haven't gotten to a balance yet. It can take a while to make sure that you're eating enough food on a vegan diet. And then even more than that, there will be people that are going to be telling you you're not getting enough protein and different things of that nature. And that's all a whole bunch of nutritional misinformation that just really isn't supported by the science. And it's a shame where, if you're attributing a feeling to something that it isn't, or listening to these negative thoughts and internalizing them, to give up something that can help you be extremely healthy and can help the world. Overall, a vegan diet is compared to an omnivorous diet with meat and dairy. They're lower risk of obesity, diabetes, cancer, heart disease, neurological diseases, autoimmune diseases, and vegans are even known to have more energy than omnivores. And to pile on top of this, vegans help to save water, reduce our carbon footprint as well as methane, so the greenhouse gases, save forests, reduce the suffering of animals, even save rivers and streams and reduce dead zones in the oceans. There are just so many benefits to a vegan diet that the last thing I want is for somebody to want to go vegan and then to not be getting the proper nutrition, or to think they aren't getting the proper nutrition and then to backtrack and become less healthy. So here what I'm doing is just lining everything up so you know how to be healthy and how to live a vegan lifestyle to feel fit and energetic and feel the best you've ever felt. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to jump in here is what I call the protein myth. Before I go into all of the science, I always like to make sure that you understand, while I'm not a dietitian, what I do is I take the information and recommendation from dietitians and from scientific studies to give you a good idea of the best things that you can do. So with the protein myth, you're probably going to hear, oh, you're vegan, you're not going to get enough protein. And just bare bones, it is almost impossible to not get enough protein if you're getting enough calories. And on the flip side of this coin, something that a lot of people don't know, and I'll do a whole video on protein tomorrow, so you'll get a little bit more of a background story on this. Animal protein specifically, and casein, the main protein found in dairy, has been found to promote cancer. And then other animal proteins have been found to be correlated positively with liver cancer for children in the Philippines. And there are a lot of other studies like this that are showing that high animal protein diets are very hazardous to your health. So there's more of a danger in eating too much animal protein than in not getting enough protein in a vegan diet, particularly if you're eating enough food. Now, if you are weight training heavily, working out really hard, just like you would on an omnivorous diet, you're going to want to make sure that you're getting a good amount of protein. But there's a really common misconception that there are no plant sources of a complete protein, which includes all of the essential amino acids, and that's just flat untrue. So quinoa is my favorite one. It's a grain that you can use in place of rice, and it is full of all of the essential amino acids. Soy products also have all of the essential amino acids. So you can use soy milk, tofu, tempeh, and you'll be getting all of them that way. And in addition to that, you don't have to be having either of those to be getting a complete amino acid profile. You just want to be eating a varied whole food plant-based diet, including legumes and nuts and seeds, and you'll be all set there. The next nutrient that we're going to go over is vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 is crucial to supplement if you're on a vegan diet. And it's even a common deficiency in older people, no matter what diet they're eating. So this is something that's very important. Now, one thing that's sort of another misconception is that B12 is showing the reason why a vegan diet just isn't natural, and that is also untrue. So we live in a very sanitized world. We get our vegetables, and in the past, thousands of years ago, we wouldn't have been triple washing them to get all of the dirt off. We'd have to be sometimes walking a mile to go and get water in a bucket. Are we really then going to be, or a basket, are we really then going to be washing all of that many times? No. Not to mention our water is super, filtrated and processed so that it's nice and clean. And while that really is important, especially nowadays with a lot of our water being contaminated from things like CAFOs and pollution and herbicides and pesticides, in the past we would have gotten plenty of B12 in soil, in dirt, as well as in the water that we drank. There is B12 in lakes and rivers and ponds. So this isn't something that shows that vegan isn't a way of nature. It just shows that the way that we live now isn't natural. So we have to be supplementing with B12. So how much, how frequently, what should you do? What I do is I take a sublingual B12 vitamin, and that means one that dissolves under your tongue, because that increases the bioavailability every day. I take at least 100 micrograms, and you can really go up to 500, even 1,000. There doesn't seem to be an upper limit or threshold with B12 where it then becomes negative for you. So it's not something to be too concerned about. Just be sure that you are taking a supplement. You can also be consuming fortified foods. Some nutritional yeast is fortified with B12, as well as a lot of different plant milks. I still suggest to be doing the daily supplement. And also if you add in some sea vegetables like some seaweed, they will have varying amounts of B12. Not enough and not consistent enough to be relying on that as your only source, but it's a good addition as well. The next supplement that I'm going to talk about is omega-3 fatty acids. So omega-3s are critically important for our health. And you can definitely get enough with a vegan diet. You just want to every day have some ground flax seeds, ground chia seeds, or walnuts. This will give you enough ALA to convert to DHA, and then you'll be getting everything that you need. I also recommend a few times a week adding in an omega-3 supplement that comes from algae. So when you think about, fish as having these great fatty acids, these are actually coming from the algae that they're eating. So if we add in some seaweed, some kelp flakes, things of that nature, we can also increase what we're getting and include a supplement here and there just in case you are, didn't eat flax that day. The way that I do it is every morning in my smoothie or acai bowl, I'll include 2 tablespoons of ground flax seeds, a sprinkle of chia, and here and there I'll have a handful of walnuts. And any one of these is going to be enough for you to have enough ALA to convert to DHA. The next nutrient that we're going to talk about is calcium. So this one is another very common misconception. You definitely can get all of the calcium that you need in a vegan diet without supplementation. In fact, supplementation has been shown to have some negative side effects and some pretty bad health implications. So it's best not to supplement with calcium, no matter what diet you're having, but to include it in your daily diet. So how much calcium are you needing? That is an interesting thing. The recommendations vary a lot from one agency to another. The US has an incredibly high recommended daily amount of 1,000 milligrams, whereas the World Health Organization recommends 400 to 500. Why is there this discrepancy? It probably has to do with a few different things. One, with our not fully knowing exactly how much of every single nutrient that we need. It's a little crazy to think that we do, but we have some understanding of it. Additionally, Especially in the United States, we have a lot of big business that is very tied to our government and our agencies helping to make these RDAs. So there may be a big business that's like, hey, it would really help us if the RDA of calcium was higher, so let's do that. So that's just a little 2 cents there. There's also a study that showed vegans and omnivores, and while the vegans did have lower calcium levels, our bone density was just as strong. So there weren't any negative implications of this. And the best way that you can get all of the calcium you need is to eat a good number of dark leafy greens. Kale and collard greens are amazing, and also include things like oranges have some calcium in them, as do broccoli and almonds, beans, sweet potatoes. So just eat a lot of foods that are whole food, plant-based, and you'll be getting all of the calcium that you need. Next, we're going to talk about iron and zinc. Neither of these are a big deal if you're eating a wide variety of whole plant foods, but it's good to know little tricks so that you can make sure that you're getting enough of both iron and zinc, as they are very important to your health. So with iron, what you want to do is have high iron foods while also eating vitamin C in the same day. So high iron foods include beans and whole grains, and then vitamin C containing foods are of course citrus fruits, strawberries, broccolis, and even more. This vitamin C makes the iron more bioavailable so that you can make sure to get everything that you need. Now for zinc, zinc is actually, it's combined with phytates in foods, and so it makes it slightly less bioavailable. This might sound bad, but it really isn't at all. Phytates are amazing, and they are shown to reduce cancer risk as well as inflammation. So they're very important for our health. So all you really need to do is increase the amount of foods that you eat that have zinc in them. And so that's seeds, nuts, legumes, and then even oatmeal is a really high source. And then you'll be sure that you're getting all of the iron and all of the zinc that you need. The last thing we're going to talk about is vitamin D. Vitamin D is a common deficiency no matter what diet you're eating, because dietary sources of vitamin D are not very strong, and it's not the best place to get your vitamin D. Vitamin D is a hormone that our bodies produce when our skin is exposed to sunlight. So if you're getting around 10 to 30 minutes of sunlight every day, then you're going to be getting all of the vitamin D that you need. However, that is just not the case for a very large number of us here today. It might be because we work in office buildings, wear sunscreen, live far enough north or far enough south that the days are short, winters are long. There's so many different things that can make it so that we aren't producing enough vitamin D. The best way to know how well your levels are doing is to get a blood test. Every year at my annual, I make sure that they test for vitamin D and other things of that nature, just to see that I'm within the amount that I need to be. And if you're low, then you should add in a vitamin D3 supplement. Now, if you really aren't going to the doctor frequently, don't want to go get that blood test, that's okay. Make sure that you're either getting sunlight, or if you're not, take a vitamin D3 supplement just to be safe. So that is everything. It may have sounded like a lot, but just some real quick recommendations, recap here. Make sure to take a vitamin B12 supplement every day, bilingual under the tongue. Include ground flax or chia seeds every day. Add walnuts into your daily or weekly routine. Just have them here or there. And then you can also take an omega-3 supplement. Make sure it's from algae so that it is actually vegan. And a vitamin D3 supplement as well if you think that you're not getting enough or have tested to have too low of levels. In addition to that, just eat a whole variety of whole plant-based foods, and you'll be getting all the nutrients that you need. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.